Wait a minute, can't hear me. Welcome to the new episode of Robin Live. I'm your host, John, as you guys might know if you watch. If not, if you're new to the show, um, Robin is busy right now. She'll be back. She'll be with us in about 5 minutes, maybe less. But you'll hear Robin's voice. You're not going to see Robin because Robin is not wanting to be seen yet. She will eventually, though. So just so you know, if you're new to the show and you're like, wow, whose voice is that? Well, there it is. The voice of Robin is there on the screen for you. Dawn is here. Hello, Dawn.
Hi, Don.
Don Wong is here. I was looking all over
Hi,
for the
Don.
podcast. LOL. Yeah. Yep, it'll be on Citizens United is where we get it from, right, Robin? That's where it's at.
Yes, Citizens United.
Yep, it'll be there. Don Wong. Hi. She says hi to you.
Hi, Don Wong.
Hi back. Um,
The best name ever.
yes. For some of you guys that remember that were watching Citizens United in the past, um we had a story from a woman in Oregon. Her name is Sarah Kirkpatrick. Um, and if you got, she was one of the first of that we got involved with CPS stuff. And so I got a notification from her today. So I think we're gonna have to do an update that she needs to do a podcast because things aren't going well for her. As I recall, her daughter was taken from her. If I'm remembering this right, she may have had an addiction issue that she has beaten the addiction issue, but during that addiction issue, I believe that her child was taken from her, and there has been abuse, allegations, and things like that. So we're going to try to work it out to where this week, next week, on whether it's Robin's show, Citizens United, whatever, and talk to Sarah again because it was. I remember the show. It's been over a year now, I think, since we did that one, and
It's amazing when we talk to people that are from completely different places that are nothing like Niagara County, and their stories are so eerily similar.
yeah, and she's from a little county
Mm-hmm.
up there, and it has a lot of the same. The biggest difference, I'll tell you, between like that place and here, Niagara County with only 200,000 people in it, in the entire county, I believe. Hey, William, hello.
Hey, William.
Um, there's more money at stake here, so you get
Oh, yeah.
more craziness here because of the border and because of the money that is at stake at the on Goat Island and all that.
Right.
So it gets a little. I think it's a little more dangerous here, but the same corruption happens in these little
Yes.
counties. It's
I
just
guess that,
it's so easy to
yeah.
do. Um, at least I think it is. Because who's watching? Obviously, they're little counties. Usually, they're poor. Usually, people are doing other things.
Right.
So who's going to have time? And these things have been going on for decades. Like the corruption part of all this didn't just start 5 years ago or
No.
since 9/11. I mean,
No.
this stuff's been going on past I was born whenever the hell I was born in 71. It was going on then and before.
Yes.
Um, so, you know, it's yeah, I feel bad. I can't wait to talk to Sarah again.
I know.
Kirkpatrick. Like I said, maybe we'll have her on this show even
Yes.
next Tuesday or something, and we'll see what Noelle's up to. We can have her join us. I'd
Yes,
love for Noelle to
definitely.
talk to her.
Yes,
I
I
think
think
that would be
Noel,
good.
yes, absolutely has the right stuff, the right knowledge to talk to her.
Right. Yeah, no, it'll be good. And it's also good to have you talking because you remember at the time back then, the show was completely different.
Right.
I obviously Noelle wasn't my co-host. You talked, but not so much. It was a weird time. We were in between co-hosts, I think, at the time.
Yeah.
So that'll be really good, and I can't
It's
wait to have her.
always great when we do these stories. I mean, it's sad that her update is not a good one, but it's always nice to have follow up.
Yeah, this follow-up, I was hoping it was going to be better. I had asked
Yeah.
back in August to see about a follow-up.
It's unfortunate that it's for that reason, but I'll be happy to talk, to get a chance to talk to her. Like you said, it's a whole different format now, so I think And I think Noelle talking to her is going to be absolutely outstanding.
Yeah, and it'll have a better situation in just in general. It's going on for a long time, but social media and technology is giving people a platform for things to be spoken out about. Correct. Dominique has messaged and said she'll be by after the show.
Okay.
Very good. We'll be here. We're not going nowhere. Um, so there's some interesting stuff we talked about last night um, on Citizens United. Remember, we talked about that there is there's almost like a survivor now, or um, oh, I don't know what you'd call it, but there's like going to be all these people that want to be city council people,
Yes.
and Republicans are able to the Niagara Falls Republicans get to like kind of interview them, and then I think there'll be some that will be then sent to for approval to the council, and
Right.
I'm sure the mayor is going to have his hands in it. Um, so that seems like a real that's got to be a hell of an interviewing process.
And boy, what a list.
But think about the interviewing. I'm just not beyond the list.
Yeah.
The interviewing of that all.
Yeah.
I mean,
What are you
can
going to
you
say?
ask? And
Yeah.
what would you even say? There's
Yeah.
no, what are they going to ask? What would they ask? What are you going to do? You're not going to do nothing. What do you mean, what are you going to do? What do you want to do?
Would you kill your children for the Republican Party?
Yeah, but yeah, not even, they won't even do, that's different. That's a different party. I'm talking about the one here.
Yeah.
No, here, that's not the case. Here, it's just, it has nothing to do with parties. It has to do with like who is going to play good, whoever the mayor may be in this one, who is going to be good enough to be able to do as he instructs. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
I don't think it even matters about the party, really. The two parties, as we've said a million times, are losers. So when they're losers, they don't really care about each other like that. Like it's not like that at all. It really isn't. It's a big, the Democrats can have their little parties out at wherever they have them at the picnics and all that garbage, but they don't really care about any of that stuff. So what do you got tonight? Because this is an interesting. If you're going to go with what I think you're going to go with, this would be something I'd love to ask these people, but I know it's not even going to be a part of topic of at all of conversation.
Right. And yeah, I want to start with poverty, specifically in Niagara Falls. I looked up, I mean, we've talked about it, probably over the last year and a half. I know you've really made a point to talk about it, and recently it's getting worse than ever. And I just looked up some stats that I just wanted to discuss.
Okay. For Niagara County, Niagara Falls.
This is for Niagara Falls, and this is they did these numbers based on an average from the years of 2016 to 2020.
Okay. And
27.5% of people in Niagara Falls live in poverty. Now, the one thing that I should say before I talk about any of this is the federal poverty level is identified as $23,550 for a family of four.
Right. What's the
Can you imagine supporting a family of four?
No, it's not happening. No.
So if they're telling
not
you
now, not in 2010.
No.
Go ahead.
And they're saying 27.5% of people are below that.
I think it's even more now.
Yeah.
Some other numbers that I had seen.
Right. But that's what I mean. But they're below that.
Right.
At this time, when this was done, the rest of New York had a 15.1% poverty rate.
Yeah.
So comparatively, I mean, we're just ridiculously
within the county. It's unbelievable.
Yes.
Between just towns and cities here.
43.6% of Black residents live in poverty. 54.5% of elementary school children are in poverty.
Right.
I mean, that's sad. When you think about that, I mean, how is this city ever going to go forward if that's how we're treating our youth.
Well,
If everybody's growing up in poverty and that's all they know, how are they going to do any better?
at Don is talking about making 13.20 an hour and obviously working 40 plus. Oh, you can't just work 40. You got to work over 40. I've been in there. I remember that.
Right.
And it's no way to live because you can't do nothing. If you have kids, forget it. What are you going to do? You know how that goes.
Right.
But one thing that I would love to ask the council people, the wannabe council people, is this whole situation with when someone's making 13.25 an hour and they're working more than 40, they're not going to in any way, shape, or form afford what rent has become here.
Right.
They certainly aren't going to be able to buy a home.
No.
So they're going to have to rent, and they're not going to be able to do it. And I would love to know what they might think about the possibilities of having maybe districts that have to be rent controlled,
right.
Different areas of town. I don't know. Go ahead, Robin. Sorry.
Roughly 1 out of 2 people, so roughly half the population, are doing poorly or struggling financially. This was a big thing. Poverty in Niagara Falls is growing while the population is shrinking.
Sure.
So that's just a recipe for disaster.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's I mean, this ball got started rolling a long time ago, as we know, especially since Don here says, I'm a healthcare worker. We are promised a stimulus check for essential workers. I never got anything. I only got my raise in October 1st to $15 an hour.
See, and it's unbelievable because people like healthcare workers, that's a perfect example. If the healthcare worker is not nice to you or to your loved one, you would be having a fit and raising hell over it. But you don't care that your healthcare worker just got a raise to $15 an hour.
Yeah.
For the expectations that we have on these people, why aren't we paying them more than people that we expect to work in fast food, for instance?
Right.
Or, you know what I mean? I just think
think about when you used to check out places and you looked at different parts of the country and you said, oh, geez, if I went down there with the money I have up here in New York, it would be better off, different parts of Georgia, different things. It's not like that anymore either.
No.
Niagara Falls seemed like a place that was better than the cost of living was much easier than if you started traveling east.
Right.
In the state.
For
sure. It's really not the case anymore due to the fact that City Hall and the City Hall really is responsible for the housing crisis. And then the Niagara Falls Water Board. Those two kicked it off. And I think then COVID exacerbated it,
Right.
But those two things kicked this off. Rent was going up. That's one thing I want to get across is that you'll hear this I heard it before. Someone tried to say it to me on Facebook. It's not COVID. COVID, yes, it hurt it, but this started already. The minute that garbage tax came in, the minute that landlords and or homeowners sat there and said, when you guys first gave us these stupid bins and totes, you told us they were free. All of a sudden, a new administration comes in and starts charging for every one of them that they gave you that you didn't even want.
Right.
They were just handing them out.
Yes.
And that falls on everybody.
Right.
Whether it's renter, owner, whomever. 17% a month, a year. That water bill is going up for the next maybe 2 more years now. I don't know. I'm forgetting where we're at. There's probably, maybe it already happened once. It's now going to I think 2 more years are left of that. So you can't let those losers, and I mean loser Democrat and Republicans, try to tell you that it's COVID, because that's what they do. They'll blame COVID.
Yep.
And COVID just made it to the point where we're now it's a joke. Now we've hit $1,100 a month rent. Get the hell out of here. No one's paying. No one can afford that. People that work better than $15 can't afford that.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
No. Well,
Go ahead.
listen to this. Downtown Hyde Park and Highland areas, 3/4 of the residents live in poverty or are at risk.
Oh, sure. Well, I think we're getting close to 50% of people in this city at risk.
Yes.
That might not be at the poverty level, but they're teetering. The
Yes.
one wrong thing happens.
Yeah,
Their car could break down and they'll be
right.
underneath. So
According to at this time, there was 48,525 residents, and 22,425 of them, so almost half, were struggling.
I want you to pay attention to what the loser parties do. The two loser parties, the two loser Democrat and Republican parties here do.
Right.
What they'll do is show up at the food pantry.
Right.
They do God knows what. Or they'll do that nonsense where they'll start to have these like cookouts and garbage. These we're gonna have a cookout here, or
Yeah.
we're gonna do, and especially come election time.
Oh my God!
These
yes.
stupid cookouts, they're a waste of time, and not a one of them, not one, has mentioned public. If it's been mentioned, then for some reason publicly no one's heard it.
Right.
For some reason. Let's read a few comments. Don says, I worked through the whole pandemic as well as a full-time student, and there's no assistance for someone like myself because I either have to not work or they say I make too much.
That was I'm sorry, that was one of the things that I wanted to talk about.
Yeah, the requirements are ridiculous. I know, it doesn't make sense.
So many working people don't qualify for assistance but are living in poverty.
It makes no sense.
No?
Makes no sense at all. Valerie says, the first year of garbage tax, we were all told it was only a charge for 1 year. 3 years in now, we've been charged every year. Yeah. Hello, Tina.
Hey, Tina.
Yeah, no doubt about it. We've been, and then not only that, the thing is, there were people that I'll never forget when they were handing out the bins. They would come to your house and they would add, do you want 2? You want 3? And some people would say, sure.
Right.
Because one seemed too small.
Sure.
And then out of nowhere, you're getting charged. I can't remember how much. There was someone who was getting charged $1,200.
Yes.
For the bins.
Yep.
And then they wouldn't come take them back. I remember all of this.
Yep.
And I think it's still going on. A matter of fact, I know it's still going on. So no one down there has mentioned the fact that we are in this kind of, crime has been a problem in the city, especially violent crime.
Yes.
And this is one thing that just doesn't get mentioned by anyone. No one. People will bitch and flip out over the food stamp stuff. Who's getting them? Who's not getting them? How are they getting them?
Yeah.
Who's getting what? Who's doing what? Where? And all that nonsense. But then not mention one thing about trying to do anything about rent controlling. You're going to have to do it. As much as I hate to say it, because I hate that, but there's parts of the city they're going to have them.
Yeah.
They have to. And that's just the way it is. I mean, and if it doesn't happen, well, then get ready for the tents and people all living in there. It's going to happen. It's already happening here.
Yes.
So get ready. It'll be a tent city.
You brought up the crime rate. I had a stat on that too. More than 1 out of every 100 people will be a victim of a violent crime. And by violent crime, it's murder, rape, robbery, or assault.
Yeah, we had some stats one time, I remember talking about that, and even property crime. Like there was some incredible numbers on the percentages of that happening to you.
Yeah.
Possibility of it happening. We all know it goes hand in hand, the whole thing that we're talking about.
Right.
Especially when there's people out there right now that are homeless for the first time in their life.
Right.
There's some people that I've talked to that are homeless and working. That's outrageous, right? They're working and they're living in their car.
Right.
So I mean, it's not going to go away, and I know damn well City Hall doesn't want to pay attention to it
No,
at all. And
no,
you know what? The mayor's not gonna, but there's some city council people that could,
right.
and they're not.
No,
They're not paying attention either.
not at all.
There needs to be a law made for landlords that, well, yes, that are considered slumlords. We have too many of those. It's hard because bad landlords give good landlords bad names. Bad tenants make it hard for good tenants to get good housing at reasonable prices. Yeah, it's all a big, horrible, but it really got exacerbated though. I think, Don, we've had that for a long time. Um, well, we've had a lot of slumlords in the city,
Yeah,
out of towners, even people that live here. They don't give a
right.
damn. This thing with these different taxes and fees that have been put on top of things have just made, and then of course inflation, blah blah blah, all that has just turned this into a place where there is no cheap housing.
No. And I read that 55% of rental units are considered substandard.
Sure. Well, we see them. We've talked to enough people. We
Mm-hmm.
talked to the person from Buffalo Avenue. We've talked to the people. Um, Don Wong herself has talked to us about that situation.
Yes.
We've talked to some others that have talked about that situation to us. We know
Noel had that
Noel had
situation.
it. We've talked to Gabriella,
Right.
who makes the bracelets. We've talked to a ton of people for that are having this same problem all over the place. Don says it's time for the mayor and city council need to start caring or get out of office. Yeah.
Yes.
Now they don't care. And because all they care about truly, and it comes right from the horse's mouth. And you don't even have to hear it from the horse's mouth. You just can look at the horse's ass. You
Right.
see what they do. They're only in it for the pension because they're old enough and they need more time for New York State pension. They are there to help their friends and family, or they're there to help themselves because they know if they do enough favors in 3 years, they'll find themselves a job, whether it's in the Board of Education, wherever it may be, the
Right.
state, it doesn't matter. So the county, it's it's the way it works, it's the way it's been working, and the only way it changes is by the people changing it. And so far, there's no appetite to change it.
Right.
I don't see one because if there was, the people that are sitting in there wouldn't be sitting there.
Right. Well, it's funny because I said to somebody on Facebook earlier who was complaining about a situation with the mayor and not being able to talk to DPW and
Right.
everything. And I said, you know what though? The mayor's a great reflection of the city.
Well, the mayor's doing what he's always was
What
said he was
he
going to do.
Right.
It's not. This is no shocker.
Right. That's what I
Shouldn't
mean.
be.
We knew who we were voting for as a city.
All of them,
Yeah, that's
including
what I mean.
including the council. All
Right.
of them.
Yeah.
The council is really annoying because you suppose, oh, here's this one they've never. It doesn't even matter if they've never been a council person before. It's bad enough when we try to recycle these people. You get the new ones that are acting like the old ones.
Right.
Huge problem there. When you can't even get new people, they say, "Oh, look at this. This person's like in their I don't even know how friggin' old, but they certainly were never in it before, but they're continually acting like those that were in it before them."
Right.
We have a lot of that.
Yep.
And every one of them in there are doing it.
Mm-hmm.
And all the ones that are looking to be sit in that place,
Yep.
they're there. What are you there for? Is really the question. That should be the question. But the answer has to be, if that question's put to those people, why are you doing this? Why do you want to do this? Their answer needs to be, I need some time for my pension. I'd like to help out the fire and the police.
Right.
I need to help my kid get a job, or myself, after I could sit in here for a little bit, can then also, because that has to be the answer. If it's not the answer, you're not ready. You're not qualified
Right.
for the job.
Right.
That has to be the answer.
Yeah.
If you go in there and don't give that answer, you're out. How the hell would they recommend you?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You have to say.
Well, yeah. They might as well call it the Biggest Loser.
Well, yeah.
The loser party is looking for a loser representative.
Yeah, they both are.
Mm-hmm.
Both losers.
Mm-hmm.
Two loser parties here.
Yep.
All you got to do, and the next time you go vote and you sit there and you say, oh, he's a nice guy. He's a nice guy. Bullshit.
Right.
What he is
Oh,
or
he doesn't
she,
seem, or
you know
she
what
doesn't seem like they
right.
would do that.
Maybe they wouldn't because they don't care. They don't have to do anything.
Right.
You just have to go and take a look.
Yep.
Drive around your city and take a look.
Yep.
And here's the problem. I know none of those people can wave a magic wand and fix anything, but they're not even saying anything.
Right.
The biggest outrage that has come from that city council was over short-term rentals and over the fact when they were not being able to speak at the council meeting or whatever, the public. Right. That was the big outrage, which turned into a big political event, which turned into a sign-in sheet, which turned into all that other garbage.
Right.
It turned into shit. It was crap. It was just nonsense. That's all it was. And they know it is because look at it. It gathered no steam. It did nothing.
Right.
No one even cared. You got some sign-ins because now you'll go back come election time and circle around and send them a stupid flyer and then do some other goddamn useless rally.
Yep.
In the meantime, you'll talk about poverty. I'll talk about it. A few others will. But the poverty problem here is bigger than it's the biggest problem.
Yes.
It's the biggest problem.
It is. And it causes all the other, most of the other problems.
All of it. Yeah, it causes all of it.
Yeah.
It certainly helps crime get bigger.
Right.
Why do you keep seeing all these petty larcenies and stuff? Why do you see this happening?
And it allows corruption to build because people are too worried about whether they're going to eat to worry about, what somebody's doing somewhere else.
Yeah. No, it's a mess. Robin, why don't we take a break? We'll come back and talk about more of that, other stuff, all that. But we should probably take a break so we can let our sponsors talk and
yes,
and
please.
we can thank them. So we'll be back in about 2 minutes or so. All right, welcome back to Robin Live. I was going to say, for people out there that watch this show and maybe enjoy it or the shows, share them. That'd be great.
Yes.
Just hit the share button. Even if you just share it to your own page would be nice. That would be helpful.
It's very helpful.
That's a big deal, yeah. To share the show is a big deal.
Yeah.
I appreciate everyone that watches, of course, all of our shows. But when you get a chance, if you're watching them,
and
Just
you
hit the
want to
share
do
button.
and you want to do something to support the show, that's the best thing you can do is hit the share
Yeah,
button.
hit the share button. That'd be great. We appreciate it, and also we appreciate our sponsors too. And
Yes.
I see that our guy Burdett is starting to take. He doesn't really do a lot of snow removal, but I think he's building like a roster of people. So if anyone's interested, he's the best in the business. So give him
He
a call.
is. Burdett's the guy. He was on the show.
Yes, he'll be back too. He does want to come back on. Noelle is with us. Hey, Noelle.
Hey,
She's
Noel.
driving and listening.
Oh God.
Um, so yeah, we were talking about poverty and in Niagara Falls. We do that a lot because if we don't, no one else does. So we talk about it. You got this insanity of these. They're when I had heard how they select these new two new city council people or three, they're gonna and then they're gonna have the I think then they'll chop it down to two. You could do some really cool, fun. And
Yeah.
they should put the brackets out. Like someone would get the buy. I'd
Right.
imagine someone would have to have a buy.
Yeah.
And geez, what a mess. What a mess. And what a if you get selected, I hope you have enough sense and enough um, care for the city to not run again. Like, let's say you get selected sitting there for a year. Please don't,
Right.
because you're the wrong person. You're fine to sit in that to hold the seat, I guess, for someone else. But because if you do, we know what you are.
Right.
I think it makes it easy to know who not to vote for. I hope, because
You,
if that's the choice of one of those two loser parties, wow.
yeah.
And then if you go vote for that, you got
Don't
nothing.
complain.
Whoa, complain. No, you should be happy. You should be ready for a festival of some kind.
Yeah.
Another everyone's clamoring for festivals.
Yeah. So we can all get shot.
Yeah, yeah, I heard that too, Noel. If that's interesting, and I think we'll have to look around and see what that's all about
Yeah.
because I had
Another one,
always
huh?
thought he was in here. So now hearing that, it'll be interesting to figure it out. But I'm sure we'll have to look into that. Yeah, I agree with that. Noel says that. Buck Collins festivals, yes.
Yeah.
Um.
And Colin herself.
Oh yeah, break out the hot dogs,
Yeah.
definitely.
Oh my
Well, I'm
God. Yes.
figuring that could be part of one of the things we could have a celebrity. Well, it wouldn't be celebrity politician a hot dog roast off.
Yeah. That's what we call celebrities around here.
But we could have that roast off. We could have
Yeah.
that,
Who
and we
makes
could
the
have
best? Who
yeah,
can
and then
give out the most hot
we
dogs?
could have three people be the judges, and then we would just how they do sometimes on the cooking when they have their barbecue shows,
Yes.
and we would just whittle away
Yeah.
until finally we have a winner. I don't know.
I like hot dogs.
Yeah, yeah. Noel said Colin and Janelle can have a Wienerfest.
Yeah.
They do that when it's election time. They love it.
Oh yeah.
Wow, the amount of hot dogs that are bought and paid for are
I
really
know.
amazing. It's coming. It's coming close. Yeah, you're right. It is free hot dog time is coming. Wait till next spring. It'll be all over the place. And they'll be so proud. Here we are at High Park. Here we are at Gluck
Right.
Park. Here we are at this park with our free hot dogs.
And then we're gonna not address poverty.
Well, no, because we did it with hot dogs.
Right. Yeah.
And maybe those
And
people
bicycles.
and the bread and the guy and then they'll cry that they got no flour.
Oh
And
yeah.
then they'll have flour, and then they'll give away bread and pizza, and everyone will just love it.
And then they'll have equipment.
And you know what? They're not even as good as Trusello's was.
No, God,
That's what's
no.
really a shame.
I don't know
That's what's
how
really a
they
shame.
could fuck up those ovens, but they're nowhere near.
Yeah, they do think they're heroes for giving out the hot dogs. Robin, what did you have? What was this? You had something else after the poverty you were going to talk about.
I do. I have a story. Actually, Dawn showed me the article from the New York Post.
Okay.
And Senator Gillibrand
Right.
wants to bring migrants from New York City
That are coming from the southern border, I take
that
it.
are coming from the southern border here so that we can qualify or in exchange for qualifying for these federal community development block grants.
Well,
New York City has a shelter crisis right now,
so do we.
and I had that written down. This article said New York City shelter system is at the breaking point due to the influx. We have that problem too.
Yeah. And that's the stuff that's coming from with I don't really think it's a great idea with what that these southern border governors are doing,
Yeah,
honestly. I don't know. I get the point, but at some point the point doesn't really matter.
right.
Like, um, then there has to become a time where you start to make something has to be done in a solution, something beyond just flying people around the country.
Yeah,
Something has to happen. But that goes to with the two loser parties that can't do anything.
right.
The two federal losers that they are can't do anything together. We're actually better off here in Niagara County, Niagara Falls. Our two loser parties have kind of melded into
Right.
one big loser party.
Yes.
Um, Over there, they're still doing the fighting. I
Right.
mean, they get these people to do that,
Well,
and then you
that's
can't.
because here, like you said, they're all in it for the
They're all
same
in it for the
reason.
same reason. Yeah,
So they can all say, "Well, yeah, I'm a Republican and I'm a Democrat,
and
but
you
we're
get,
both just here for."
but they get the dopey people out there that vote thinking
Right.
it's like pro wrestling,
Oh yeah.
thinking that there is an actual something.
Right.
There's nothing. They
No.
really are in the name of, obviously what can I get? Well, that's there. And federally, they're just morons too, and they both are
Just
losers.
fundraising.
They're losers.
They're just fundraising.
Yeah,
machines.
wildly fundraising for themselves because the Democrats and the Republican national committees, there are people there that draw paychecks.
Right.
That money just doesn't go to to candidates. There's people that are making these decisions that we don't even know their names, that are making millions of dollars
Right.
off of donations being sent to those two losers.
Yep.
And we keep supporting the two losers, and that's just how it goes.
Yeah.
But as far as that goes with Gillibrand, I'm not surprised. I thought that had already been going on through the years.
I did see a report that confirmed that migrants were being sent to Buffalo.
We saw that. Yes, we know they are. Right.
So if we know that,
Then
I mean, they're here too.
Look, they're going to go everywhere because they're going everywhere.
11,000 migrants have flooded New York City, according to this article.
Right.
And they're now going to try to disperse them
throughout
upstate.
the state. Yeah. That's where it's going. That's what's going to happen. As this continues on, that's what's going to happen. I mean, we did that here with the pedophiles, remember?
Yes.
That was the story when they put them over there near the school in Niagara Street. And Deister famously said they need to live somewhere, don't they? And it's similar.
Right.
It's a very similar situation.
Right.
As to what this is.
And I mean, don't you think that increases all the problems that we just talked about?
Manzari. Yeah, we're in trouble, John.
Yeah.
This is like crippled and crippler.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah, Jesus. You want to talk about that? God, taken out on a stretcher if I make a move too quick. But no, really, I mean, you're going to bring these.
And we just talked about crime and poverty. Is that going to help in any way?
I don't know.
I don't think so.
I don't know. What are they bringing? Why it's so bad? What is it? What is the payoff?
We're
like, I don't know.
So there's $9 billion available in federal funds annually. Last year, New York State received $360 million in these grants.
And Niagara Falls never gets any.
Right. Well, here's the thing. These grants are awarded to general purpose governmental units like social services or community development.
So then it's up to, oh God.
Yeah, so then
it comes down to these idiots.
Right.
Then it will come down to the county legislature saying what to, oh boy.
Yeah, exactly. And obviously, from the conservative side, these are being,
look what they've done.
Criticized, these giveaways of money.
Look what they've done. Think about what they have done, those two loser parties.
Yep.
Look what they have done. They have look what they've done. Yeah, you can never track it. You're right. Look what they've done. They have made it to where it's you can only this is what it is, and this is why you will talk to 9 out of 10 people, 99 out of 100 that will just say just walk away
Right.
because that's this has been they have perpetrated the biggest crimes on Americans than more than anyone else is the two parties.
Yeah.
Those two parties are completely and totally the reason that we are where we are today. John Adams said it way back when we talked about that.
Yep.
What has happened? And they have perpetrated more crime against Americans than anyone from out of this country, anyone from anywhere at any time. They're the biggest criminals
Yeah.
because they set it all up.
Well, and that's what, and John made a good point, and it was a point that I wanted to make. When you're giving it to social services and community development, and it's not for a specific project, you can never track who knows where that money. So that money just goes to something that doesn't better the residents, but meanwhile you're bringing in more crime and more poverty. Or in the case of Deister, you're bringing in pedophiles and putting them near a school for what exchange?
Let's just start with you said it right. You're bringing in more poverty.
Right.
Right off the bat. You're just injecting some more, the countries won't take them back,
Right.
as we've learned.
Mm-hmm.
So somewhere in here, the two loser parties are going to have to become adults. I don't know when that's going to happen, but they're going to have to become adults and realize that, like, you know what, we're going to have to stop. Sorry, we're not going to be able to fundraise on this one.
Right.
Like, there can't be a winner and a loser now.
Right.
Now, this is the one time where the two losers have to, like, join together and try to at least win a little together.
Right.
Because if they and not worry about what some lunatic on either side is going to think.
Right.
Because this one situation,
or who's going to get congratulations for it.
They're going to have to all get congratulations for it, maybe. But that doesn't pay the bills for them, though.
Nope.
That's the problem. That doesn't pay the bills for these two loser parties.
No, being divisive is what
that's
they
what
do.
Pays. That's what works.
Yeah.
That's what pays the bills. Because if they have to grow up and get together and fix this. Because otherwise, you're just going to continue. It's not going to end.
Right.
Because they're all just what they are.
And the other thing about local politics, I think, is that people, and you touched on it a little bit, but people project these ideologies onto these people that are in our city government.
Yeah.
And they think that they hold some high standard of beliefs that they have, and
that's just not
it's just foolishness.
Yeah, it's not the case.
Or you're going to vote here in Niagara Falls on an issue that doesn't even affect Niagara Falls. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, they set it up really well. The failure that they do is purposely failure. You know what I mean? They're losers on purpose.
Right.
This is purpose. This is choreographed. Sure. All of it. And
the Democratic Party doesn't mind that Roe vs. Wade got overturned because they're probably bringing in more money.
If Donald Trump wins.
No,
because it'll just bring more money to them.
Right.
And the Republicans don't care if they attack the Second Amendment.
Right.
Or whatever. It just doesn't matter. There's more money to be made. Right. I don't care about who's out there talking, how they're talking, whatever. The DNC, the RNC have people that are cashing. They live off of the donations that are brought in.
Right.
Because they get paid.
Yeah.
Because they work for them. This is all, it's been a big joke for a long time. Most people know it, I think. I think most people know it and just don't care. That's the sad part.
Yeah.
That's where the crime's been committed by those two parties. Because they have been able to do that. They've been able to do generation after generation of people that just think I can't fight City Hall type bullshit.
Right.
But when it really means I can't fight the two loser parties. Because they're the monster.
Right. They're the ones that created this.
Yeah.
They're the ones that create the divide.
In a city like this, there shouldn't even, honestly, when you think about it, there shouldn't even be a party.
No.
There should be no parties. And, no, you're right, John. And, there should be no parties. There really shouldn't. And Don, you're right. Yeah, bringing in more human traffickers to hide behind their
Yeah.
hide behind their own crime, right? And I'll tell you, if you ran on your name a little more, you might have a little more shame.
Right.
But right now, you just hide, and they'll hide you. It's disgusting.
Mm-hmm.
The county legislature is the same way. It
Yeah.
doesn't matter, and state government doesn't seem to be any
And I love
better.
how they hide the people in our schools.
Well, they like to do that. Or yeah, in the schools they'll hide them in the state. They'll hide them at the power authority. Power authority is another one that they like to put people, for favors
Mm.
to be. That's a great one. Even the county or the city. But if you were some legislature, it's hard. Well, although the county legislature don't give a damn. They give job. They don't even care. They just
Right.
if they are the worst employer I've ever. They don't even look into anything.
No.
They don't even. They're just told, hey, he's a good one. All right,
Yeah.
sure, we're fine. So
D'Angelo's a perfect example.
yeah, yeah, he'd still be there if people didn't make a big deal about it.
Mm-hmm.
He'd still be there. There's no doubt. Why
And
not?
he gets hired with
Excuse me.
no investigation into him. Like, they couldn't, when you would expect that if you're getting hired for a county job, that they might look into you enough to know that you raped somebody in high school.
Yeah, you would think. No, no, there's no reason to look into that. I just know that the more I do I say it all the time like a broken record, but I don't think I'll ever stop. The two parties are seriously the biggest issue that this country has when it comes to everything because it all stems from them. You want to talk about the border? Why is the border a problem? Because the two loser parties play games.
Right.
It's a big play. They all play games. They play games with all this stuff. That's all it is. It's like, look at when they have power. When one of these losers have full control, they won't do anything.
Right.
So they really don't believe in the stuff they pretend they believe in.
Right.
So, but they make the people out there think they do and think that that guy is evil. I'm the good. When you're all evil, you're all trash because all you're doing is taking power
Right.
and money. So
Well,
it's not
yeah, I mean, a perfect example on a national level is Obama when he got in there, with the promise of health care, and we get Obamacare, which has only made the healthcare system worse.
Yeah. Yeah, it did nothing. It didn't.
And but
it didn't help
he
people
got
that
in
needed
there
the
with
help.
he got in there with full control, could have done anything.
Yeah, could have done anything. And a lot of these presidents and a lot of these parties do.
Right.
They go in with full control and they do nothing.
And I'm not saying that he's any worse than the others.
No, he's the same.
It's just
same.
that's the first example that popped into my head. But
yeah, no, it's the same. It's the same. That is what has to happen here. And everybody, they still get themselves all sectioned off. And people just don't listen. They don't watch and don't. The better of two evils is the worst thing to say because they're all evil.
right.
There is no better of two evils in those two parties.
Right.
They're all evil.
And don't
They're all
fool yourself into believing they're not, because that's what, like you said, that's what everybody's walking around doing is like subscribing to some ideology that doesn't exist and pledging this allegiance to
nothing.
To some party that they would, I mean, like I said, they would change.
If the money changes, they'll change.
Yeah.
As the money goes, they'll go. That's all they care about is the money. I mean, we know this, and I'm probably talking to people. They all know this. We know this, but we keep doing this.
Right.
We could change it, and you could change it in a small city. Like you could change it here. Niagara Falls, New York could change it.
Yes.
You really could, because you can beat back these scumbag parties.
Right.
These two scumbags are easy to beat back because look at who you got to beat back. A bunch of criminals and fools. So it's easy to do. You can do it here. But but we don't. And part of it is because if they keep 41% or 45% at the poverty level or close to it or below it, they aren't looking at this stuff.
Right.
They've known this. This has been their plan. It's the plan that's pretty much what that John Adams way back when founding father told you.
Right.
And it's happening. Let me see what Don, I say Don and Don. I always have a hard time. Don. He must have some information on some higher up people, politicians, to be walking around without a care in the world, but is real, and his judgment day is going to come. His times more than the hurt he has caused and causing. Talking about D'Angelo, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Don Moore says more people need to get informed and vote. Most voters here are the older people that vote by party no matter what. Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
Yep.
And sadly, this is what upsets me though, Don and everybody, is that then the younger people do the same damn thing.
Right.
I'm always hopeful, and then I get you get destroyed because then you see, okay, here comes this guy. He's in his 30s or whatever the hell he is. He's doing the same thing that the guy did before him who was in his 60s.
Right.
And here comes the person who's, I'm not a politician. I'm no politician. But they'll take money for mailers. They'll take money from these. And then next thing you know, guess what? You're a big politician. You're just a straight out politician.
Right.
That's what you are.
Yeah.
And then you watch them become it. It's funny. Some of those, I'm not even going to mention their names no more because they don't deserve to have any mention. But some of I even watched it with some of the Democrats.
Yes.
Locally.
Yes.
I'm not, they told me right to my face they're not politicians.
Right.
They started doing political stuff the minute that election ended. The minute they lost, well, even before that, they showed themselves.
Right.
You're a politician because if you're not accepting their money. You don't need their money here in Niagara Falls to win or in Niagara County.
And you know what taking their money means.
Oh, you don't care. And you know what it means.
Don't act like, oh, well, I need the money. Well, guess what?
Then don't run.
That tells me what kind of person you're going to be in office if you will take the money just because you need it, even though the right thing to do is not to take it.
John says, do you honestly think we can wrestle away power from these politicians, and how can we do it? For me, how I say is, well, this is the big push. You got to get people that will run that think the way we may think, where it's like, I don't want your endorsement. I don't give a shit about your endorsement. I don't want to be endorsed by you, teacher, police, fire union. I don't want you, Democrat or Republican. I don't care about you because I am a no party person or whatever. I'm in no party.
Right. Like you said, I'm running on my name.
And then that's part of it. Then I think the people that aren't going to run, the voter has to just realize you're being made a fool of. You're being made into a fool. Because like when I watch professional wrestling, and I still love to watch it sometimes, and go back into, I know what I'm seeing is what it is, but I like to play along because that's what makes it fun. Similarly, that's what happens here with politics.
Right.
People are playing along.
Absolutely.
Because when you then go to them if you talk to them after they've cast their ballot and you say to them the things we're saying, they'll agree with you.
Right.
But they continue to play along like they're at a WWE event.
Right.
So for me, the way to wrestle power away from these people is, first off, well, how you vote, paying attention to who it is and where the money is. Now, I'm going to tell you this right now. You have no good choice. Screw it. Don't vote. I've had it. Don't vote.
Right.
Don't vote. Fuck it. Don't vote. Don't vote. Or write in someone's name. Don't vote. Or if you feel like you have to write in a name, write your own name in. Do whatever it is. Just don't vote no more. That whole thing. This is a great thing that those two losers like to tell you. The lesser of two evils. They love that.
Oh yeah.
How many Democrats and Republicans have voted that way?
Oh my God.
Right? Millions.
Oh my God. Yeah.
So I think it starts here in Niagara Falls, New York, Niagara County. I think little places like town of Niagara, Lewiston. I mean, they could, but they're all. The problem is though, through the years and the decades, all these families getting jobs. This guy got a break on his speeding ticket. This guy had DWI, and this scumbag judge let him go. This one did this. This one did. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And all of that. And my kid works for the county. They have, like I said, they're the biggest. They're our biggest problem.
Yeah.
Number one problem in America is those two parties.
Yes.
In my mind, the biggest problem we have, because there is nothing to put them in check. They run wild. There is no other corporation. There's no other organization that is like them. I don't think in the world, let alone, well, in the world might be if you're just in like the old Soviet Union, but right here, they control it all. They're the reason Nick D'Angelo walks free.
Yes.
They're the reason Belter, who did what he did, has only 8 months of what you call it of probation. They are the reason that these people are where they are and what they do. They really are. We would need astronomical numbers all at once to get the power back. One good guy here, and they're always get squashed. No, I know, but it's got to keep. You got to just keep. Somehow,
it's got to build.
It has to, and I don't know what it is because people don't like to vote. People, and I understand why, because through the years they've been made to feel useless.
Right.
It's really something else.
And what they're voting for and what they're getting time and time again are two different things.
They're almost like pimps to the hooker.
Yes.
Because they make the poor, whoever it is, feel useless.
Right.
To the point where they fucking give up and say, screw it.
Right.
And the only way I'll vote is if you give me a job, or my friend, or my mother, my brother, my grandmother, or somebody.
Right.
So it's absolutely disgusting. And I've seen enough of it throughout my life. I know some of you in this thing have, that I'm sick of it. Yep. And at my age now, I don't even care no more.
No.
I didn't care ever, honestly. And I held a county job. I held this job. I held that job. And you know what always ended up happening? Except for the one that I left, that I guess I'm actually, I should have just stayed.
Yeah.
But I left. But all the other ones would just get cut.
Right.
So I lived the life. I lived getting the jobs, the political, that whole deal.
Right. Yeah, you know better than anyone, I think.
As good as most as to what's going on, and what I've listened to, and what I've seen, and what I've heard. This place is a disgrace.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I am done. Robin, I'm done.
Done?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm all out. Left it all on the field. No, I got an Instacart. I don't
know. Instacart?
Not now. No, yeah. I gotta rest up for the morning.
Yeah.
Carrying water bottles gets a little much.
Yeah, I gotta have some soup.
Dominique's coming to visit.
Oh yeah, I'll have soup after she leaves.
Yeah, no, you're right, John. The assault on the Capitol seemed to me more like we are sick of government more than a Trump thing. We are sick of. We should be sick of government.
Yes.
We should be sick of the political parties too. We should be sick, and that's probably what you mean by government, John. We got to be sick of them too.
Yeah.
Not just the thing is though, it's hard because these people are like robots. You can't just be sick at the Democrats. You have to be sick at the Republicans too. You have to be sick at both.
Right.
Because
whatever you think you are, be sick at that too.
Be sick at that, yeah. Because you are what you are because of how you were, I guess, how you were raised, whatever your morals are, or whatever.
Right.
But not because a party is jumping on board with you. Because you would be that without, if those parties went away tomorrow, if somehow I could wave a magic wand and there's no more, if you believe the way you believe, you're still going to believe that way without them.
Yeah.
You don't need them. All right. Robin, we should probably go.
Yes.
Why don't we do something real quick, though?
Yes.
YWCA, Robin. YWCA, 716-433-6714 here in Niagara County. Go ahead. Why don't you let me tell everybody how great they are?
They're amazing. Counselors standing by 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. They'll answer the phone. It's their own cell phone that you call. They'll counsel you. They have advocates available to go to police station, hospital, lawyer, whatever you might be nervous about going to. They're just amazing, amazing people. And anyone who's been a victim of sexual assault or has a loved one who should call them.
Yeah, you can figure out what they're going through and understand the mind
and
the nightmares and all that, the PTSDs.
And even if for people out there who have gone to other counselors who might not specialize in something like that, I would encourage them to call.
Just talk.
And just talk to them. Yeah.
That's all you do is talk.
Yeah.
888-373-7888. Human trafficking. Niagara County has a lot of it happening. Western New York. We live it. It isn't just something that's happening at a different border and stuff.
Right.
It's all happening here. We've seen it through the years. Think back to that massage parlor that was running around back in, I don't even know if it was the early 2000s or whatever. So we have that. We have a long history of it. So if you see something, 888-373-7888, you can say something without worry of any repercussions because you're anonymous. It isn't like you're making a false report. It's just helping. And hopefully you stop something that you might see. And real quick, the other one I want to bring up is the number 988.
Oh my God, yes.
The 988 number, Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. Please, if you have any issues like that or you're feeling that way, give it a call if you can, if you will.
Remember the number because
988.
that's the thing. I mean, probably if you're sitting here watching, you're not in crisis right now, but at some point
You might,
you or a loved
yeah, you
one
might know
might
someone.
be.
Yeah.
So that number might come in handy.
But
They've made it so
you,
easy. I love that.
that 988 number too, if from what I was reading, let's say I have a friend who's in crisis, I can call that number
That's
and
great.
get some help on what to do. That's the thing that people got to realize. You don't have to, if you know somebody that's in crisis, call that number to get some advice on
Right.
what to do. Great number, great thing. Real quick before we go, the Friends Media Network on YouTube. That's where you can see all four of our shows. Falls Count Anywhere, Goal Getters, Robin Live, and Citizens United with myself and Noel. Please, even if you don't use YouTube much, if you could just go there and give us a subscribe, that'd be great.
Yes.
Just like, please, if you haven't followed us, follow us on Facebook at Citizens United. Also, share and share. Just keep sharing
Yes,
our shows if you
please.
can. That would be great. Um, Dave Berzani, thank you. We're not done. No, we're never going to be done. We'll be doing this forever. It's just I don't know if we'll ever get the result we want, but we're never going to be done. We'll keep doing it. Oh, Don asked if that's a real parade. That thing I wrote.
Oh,
No, that was just in my mind. Um, it was in the middle of the night, and I couldn't sleep, and that came to my mind, and I just wrote it all out. So no, well, it's not far fetched knowing this stupid place, but um,
yeah.
I'm sure that they would, if you were going to have a Super Bowl parade for the Buffalo Bills, this city would do it after week 2
Yes.
because they're just ridiculous.
Right.
Don, before we go, Don says, I had the same mental health counselor since a child. And in 2015, she listened to my story, then told me she couldn't be my counselor anymore due to conflict of interest. Now I can't get access to my records. How terrible.
My God, that's awful.
All right. We got to go. Thank you everyone
You
for,
don't need your records to call the YWCA.
right. Correct. Let's get going. Everyone that watches us, thank you.
Yes,
Share,
thank you,
share.
everyone.
We'll be back on Friday for the Goal Getters. Falls Count Anywhere on Saturday, and of course, Citizens United on Monday coming up. All right, everyone. Why don't Robin? Let's go.
Yeah, thanks, everyone.
Yep. Take care, everyone, and we will see you next time.